Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect, daily news in a way you did not know you could use. Whew. Tuesday is Tuesdaying like it is a Monday, okay? First of all, let's get started with some unfortunate news. Some very unfortunate news. Prayers are pouring in after 4 U.S. hunters have been killed. Prayers are pouring in after 4 U.S. hunters have been killed. A fourth deadly U.S. hunting accident has taken place. Over the past couple of weeks, 4 different U.S. hunters have been killed in tragic accidents. The latest death took place in the state of Louisiana. Garrett Verdon, 45, died after a hunting rifle accidentally discharged and struck him in the head while he was on a hunting trip with a friend around 4 p.m. November 29th in Lafourche Parish, according to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the New York Post reported. Verdon's hunting partner told officials that they were heading to their hunting spots and had just crossed a cattle guard when Verdon passed him the rifle, which unexpectedly discharged and hit him with a .308 caliber round. Why does this feel like a Dick Cheney type of situation? Now, as someone who has lost 2 family members due to quote unquote accidental gun discharges, I have questions. I had questions. I still have questions regarding their death. Some people just should not. It's the 4th in a string of horrible hunting accidents. Earlier this month, a 26-year-old hunter in Wisconsin was found dead from an apparent accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. Stop playing with guns. Stop playing with guns. I had a younger cousin lose their life from playing around with a firearm. Please stop. And this younger family member was a full-grown adult, just younger than me. He was found underneath a tree stand. In Texas, a 45-year-old man was found dead from a similar injury. He was found dead outside of his car. You know what? Why is this given, not Dick Cheney? This is given Kevorkian, okay? We went from the doctor of death to the nurse of death to now the hunter of death. Like, this is a whole, is this how we're assisting in suicide? Is this how we're still getting the family's payouts? I have questions. I got questions. Because, in Pennsylvania, an Amish father of 2 was killed during a deer drive in which a group of hunters attempted to push the deer toward another group of hunters. Let's run that back. In Pennsylvania, an Amish father of 2 was killed during a deer drive in which a group of hunters attempted to push the deer toward another group of hunters. Prayers are pouring in for everyone involved. So sad, one fan wrote. Awful news, another fan added. Praying for their families today, one shared. Horrific news. I think they need more than thoughts and prayers. They need Prozac and therapists. And I'm not being facetious or funny. Alrighty. Now moving on to Capitol Hill. Now remember, Linda McMahon has been stating that Trump has told her that she will be deemed successful in her job when she eliminates her job. Remember, with Doge, there were sweeping cuts and disarray in the Department of Education. Well, a memo/email has recently resurfaced that they're secretly doing what other departments and agencies in the federal government has been doing since all of these, slashing and dashings have been happening. They're secretly rehiring people. See what happens when you decide to make decisions based upon your ignorance, and then you get into a position and you're faced with having to learn how things really work. But on top of that, for some reason, the United States loves to gobble hold of only bailing out the people who have the money to not need to be bailed out. Trump administration moves to remove millions of student loan borrowers from payment pause. Because yes, in this shrinking, ever devolving economy, let's screw people over even more. Because that makes a hell of a lot of sense. The Trump administration announced a proposed joint settlement with Missouri that could soon force millions of borrowers in a Biden-era payment pause back into repayment. Student loan borrowers who remain enrolled in the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan forbearance will need to select a new repayment option, the U.S. Department of Education said in a press release Tuesday. The entire SAVE plan has been blocked since February, when the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals sided with Republican-led states that argued former President Joe Biden lacked the authority to establish the student loan relief plan. But you all didn't fight it when PPP loans were being forgiven carte blanche. Hey, Nana J. But see, you only enjoyed having PPP loan forgiveness for the wealthy who should not have qualified for PPP loans, let alone non-repayment back of it. And you going along with snatching away student loan repayment options for people, but championing on PPP loan forgiveness. Stop complaining about the lack of staff at certain establishments, because it's a direct tie-in. In order for them to still qualify for this forgiveness, they cannot let their staff numbers go above a certain amount. What was that again? Y'all were so proud of voting for this? Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. You all have to stop with this compartmentalizing yourself out of reality. Stop acting as if things are not interconnected. Okay? Now, there's been quite the buzz here recently regarding the United States' current favorite vigilante, allegedly, Luigi Mangione. Now, it appears that during his arrest, according to court transcripts thus far, he was not properly Mirandized, which I could have told you there's probably a plethora of cases that people have not brought up the fact that they have not been Mirandized. From coast to coast, there are police departments that are not properly Mirandizing people, or they're waiting until they get them to the jail to then read them their rights. But Luigi Mangione noted huge media presence for mass murderer cop testifies. Luigi Mangione returned to court Tuesday as testimony continued in a critical pretrial hearing to determine whether police acting lawfully during his arrest amid a national manhunt following the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. There was over the weekend, Mangione was said to have been under the weather, so it's part of the reason why there was no court yesterday. And also, let us not forget, and do not say, oh, Taz, you're speaking ill of the dead. Speaking ill of the dead means lying on the dead. Speaking ill of the dead does not mean telling the truth about somebody, because I'm tired of y'all acting like you cannot tell the truth about somebody because they died, because you pick and choose who you want to tell the truth about. You all will run somebody's name through the mud while they're alive, and then when they're dead, then you want to tell the truth about how great they were. But then you want to sit here and cover for the most despicable people on the planet. Then when they die, you don't want to talk about it. Huh? Huh? Why? Huh? Yeah. Mr. Brian Thompson, I'm pretty sure he and his family are happy that he is deceased, because he was about to face charges of fraud anyway. So his family was about to be bankrupt, allegedly. Mangione, 27, appeared for the fifth day of a lengthy pretrial hearing in Manhattan Supreme Court. His attorneys are seeking to block prosecutors from using evidence seized during a search following his arrest in Altoona, Pennsylvania, on December 9th, 2024, 5 days after Thompson, 50, was fatally shot as he attended an investor conference in Manhattan. You mean as he attempted to make it across the street for the investor conference? The same investor conference that went on without him. I mean, expeditiously. Hey, Magpie. Like, they didn't even wait for this man to properly get all the way good into the morgue. Okay. He wasn't even at refrigerated temperature when they were like, let's get this done. Let's get her done. All right. And of course, because United is known for deny, claims that people are paying into. Stop being so loyal to these companies. Mangione entered court just before 10 a.m. in a navy suit and pink shirt. I don't know why we needed the fashion police on this, but okay. The first witness called by prosecutors on Tuesday, Altoona police officer Stephen Fox, testified he learned about Thompson's murder while watching national newscasts, CBS News reported. I mean, he's the cop. Was he expecting a special phone call? And he was in Altoona. The alleged murder, happened in New York. Like, I'm not going to get in my feelings if I don't get a direct call and I have to learn about something on television or on social media regarding something that happened to somebody that's not in my inner circle and not even in my neck of the woods. So, and I do the news. I knew it was a violent act of cowardice that targeted a defenseless human being, Fox testified. I want to know how you would describe the murder of Black, brown, and indigenous people. I would like to know that. A defenseless human being. I'm sorry. And I don't care if you're watching and you do work for a healthcare conglomerate, because that's what they are at this point. You're not helpless. You're not defenseless. You're despicable. And yes, I understand everybody has to make a living. But what is the saying? What is the adage? All money ain't good money. They thought he got hit with the bat signal. Yeah, they like defenseless. Like, it's a grown man who was defrauding people while heading a conglomerate that screwed over nursing homes. Miss me with that. Fox's testimony prompted Mangione to shake his head while seated near his attorneys, reporter Lauren Conlon noted on X. If y'all are going to be reporting from the courtroom, can y'all give us pertinent information? Like, don't tell us stuff that's like, duh. Like, if I'm a defendant sitting in a courtroom and somebody's like, well, she went after a defenseless grown-ass man that was committing his own crimes, of course I'm going to shake my head. That's like me going to a midnight ballerina club and then reporting back to y'all that at the midnight ballerina club, paper money was being tossed about. Fox testified he'd encountered Mangione at a McDonald's in Altoona, where he and another officer determined Mangione had provided authorities a fake name of Mark Rosario. How did y'all do that? That's one of my biggest questions. I've had this question since I first started covering Mangione last year. Okay. Because when photographs were being made available, when the cops were all so happy to speak publicly about it, and I was just like, where's the attorneys generals here? Where are the DAs? Where are the police chiefs and the police commissioners to tell them to shut up? Like, these police officers are acting as if they don't know how investigations go. Well, they're police officers in the United States. Of course, they don't know how the order of operations, anything. Hey, Amy. Because I'm like, how do you walk up to somebody and go, hey, what's your name? Mind you, they did not have a name. Okay, so they had a description of him, and they were like, okay, we saw him go here. I need y'all to remember that. So they're going, well, what's your name? What difference does it make? Like, most of you out there have no idea what my legal name is. So walking up to me and going, what's your name? I can tell you anything. How would you know to verify it? So when he originally said his name was Mark Rosario, how did you all confirm this? Because you couldn't take fingerprints right on the spot. Nobody said that they went out to the car and ran the license or the ID. And last time I checked, now I'm not a cop and I don't play one on TV. Okay? I just happen to be related to one. But they don't have the technology to walk up to you in a restaurant and RoboCop the information and then just go, nope, that's not Mr. Rosario there. So y'all didn't do things the correct way. You treated Luigi like he was black. If you know what I'm referring to. Why are you lying about your ID? Fox asked Mangione on body-worn camera, video played in court. How would you know he's lying about his ID? Like, I need y'all to think about it. Because a lot of times when we have to go back, when it comes to trials, a lot of people don't, and this is why jury trials can be a blessing and a curse. Well, it can be very frightening, especially with the court of public opinion, because you all forget that when you're listening to a trial, when you're watching a trial, they have to put things out in the order chronologically that it happened. The information that we have now, or we think that we have now, is not the information that was had way back then. They didn't know nothing about a Luigi back then, okay? They know nothing about Mario's brother going rogue, allegedly. Okay, they didn't know anything about that. So what was there? There was speculation, but most of the speculation happened after his arrest, and his name was officially put out there. That's when a few of his roommates from Hawaii popped up and was talking. There were statements from alleged family members. I'm saying alleged because I still haven't been able to confirm those early interviews. Well, newspaper interviews, because they really weren't getting on TV, if these people were truly family members of his or not. And the family pictures from holidays that were starting to circulate. He has a couple of family members that they're doppelgangers of each other, which understandable. They got Dana in common, okay? That DNA is strong. Them genetics are strong. I have two cousins, both younger than me, and our parents are not siblings. Our parents are cousins to each other. We can pass as triplets. And once again, I am the oldest by some years. But Fox testified that Mangione also didn't make eye contact with officers at the restaurant, which made him feel uneasy. You're a cop. Who's really making eye contact with you? You all's partners don't even make eye contact with y'all, mostly because they can't, because y'all done bippity-bopped them in it. Hey, Nightbird, you're never late. I know I'm late, but your full name is Taz Amazing Jones, and no one can tell me different. Mwah! I love you. You know what? That's what I'm going by from now on. That's That's it. So Fox then read Mangione his Miranda rights. Did he? Did he? Did he do that? Informed him he was being detained in connection with charges in Pennsylvania and that any other inaccurate information he provided to police could result in additional charges, CBS News reported. But here's the thing. How was it confirmed in that McDonald's that the information was incorrect? Let us not also forget, because Tazzy Farms remembers, let's roll it back. Let's run it back. There were people that were giddy. They could not wait to get on camera and talk about their experience of being there during the epic takedown of Luigi. The officers didn't go outside. They did not go outside to confirm any of this. So Fox also testified there was a large media presence outside a courthouse in Blair County where he transported Mangione to be arraigned following his arrest. Yeah, because y'all kept perp walking him like he was the Joker or the Riddler or something. And let's not forget Eric Adams acting like he was the Dark Knight. Like, yes, let me walk with you. If we got the Dark Knight from Wish.com, not even Temu. Heck, is there a discount version of St. Vincent de Paul? Is there a discount version of Goodwill? Because that's where we got Eric Adams' version of Batman. Okay? He was more like Moth Boy. All right? That's what was going on. Okay? Because ain't no way. Yes, more like Bruce Lane. You're absolutely right, Magpie. I thought Tazalicious step on him, Stevenson. You know what? I can't with y'all. I went from being a pimp named Slickback at the beginning of 2025 to Tazalicious. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ on a motorbike. Yeah. Came with y'all. Mr. Mangione looked back at all the reporters and stated, all these people here for a mass murderer? Wild. Fox reportedly told the court Tuesday. When did Luigi say that? I need y'all to really think. I need y'all to take a moment and ride the hands of time like you share, okay? Okay? And if you're having a hard time remembering, Taz J77 on YouTube, it's all there. Okay. And I'm saying this because there are only a few times post-arrest that Luigi actually spoke. And how do we know? Because it was a huge deal. Like if it was captured on film and everybody was talking about it because we didn't know what he sounded like. And the one time that he spoke, it was out of frustration and anger because, in his own words, how they were portraying him to the media. And by them, I'm talking about the police. Hence, ACAB all day. Feel how you want to feel about it. Take it up with your mama and your daddy. Okay? Your mama's egg chose you. Oh, y'all thought that it was a sperm race? It's not. The women is always choosy. Anywho, but yeah, no, Luigi has not said much. So you really think that he was going to incriminate himself by saying, and I quote, all these people here for a mass murder? Not to mention, the term mass murderer is never utilized by mass murderers. And how was often one person make someone a mass murderer? See, using these trigger words goes to show what they're trying to do. See, piss poor beginner propagandists do things like this. Because if we look historically at good propagandists, you are so far removed from the era of that propaganda before you start to realize it was propaganda. Now, I know that little Mr. CEO Brain was a little chunky, okay? He had a little junk in his trunk, all right? He done tasted a few biscuits with all the honey sauce, okay? We've seen the pictures of him. If you forget what he looked like, take a moment, Google him real quick, put up the picture, okay? You're looking at the picture? All right. But no. I feel like that's a bit of fat shaming, Mr. Officer Man. We don't do the thickums shaming around here. We like them thick, okay? We enjoy a shake from time to time, but we love a malt. And if you don't know the difference, you're going to need to go figure it out, okay? We like them thick and delicious around here. All right? All right. Mangione, who was shackled at the time, also tripped as the pair walked following his arraignment, Fox testified. So, like, if you're gonna posture to that point, let's be right. Fluffy, not stuffy. You got that right, Nana J. Let's be real. If you're gonna posture, if you're gonna peacock, so to speak, are you really gonna trip right afterwards? Like, as clumsy as I am, okay? Now, I don't really posture. I'll just state facts. Take that how you want to take it, okay? If you want to call me arrogant, go right ahead. I heard it. Anywho, stay on topic. Nobody's posturing to look big, bad, and to trip. What in the Pink Panther? What in the Inspector Gadget? Absolutely not. So this man gonna sit there and call himself a mass murderer around cops with body cam after being so quiet, even through interrogation. And he didn't trip? Huh, what? To quote the iconic, the illustrious Madam Dominique Morgan, my God, on today, imagine thinking that we would believe that bullshit. Absolutely not. Okay, I don't know what in the flamboyant fudgery they think is betwixt our ears and behind our eyes. I know that MAGA has had their gray matter turn into sludge and seep out of their ear one good night's sleep at a time, but not the rest of us. And for good measure, in case Angry, the greatest radio producer to ever do it, my IT twin, isn't still in here, could y'all tell him that I didn't say a bad word? I got very creative with it. Flamboyant fudgery is our thing now. So it's okay. I'm going to have to get used to it, Mangione replied, according to Fox's testimony. So okay. So Fox, the officer, the Altoona officer, okay? And sorry for anybody in Altoona. I mean, no disrespect. I just like saying the name of y'all city. It puts a smile on my face. I don't know why. I've never been to Altoona. Maybe I should go take a trip there and see what y'all got going on. I just like saying it, okay? I hope y'all have a lovely city. I don't know. Tell me about it. Send me some messages. Maybe we can do the show remotely from there. Y'all got some good donuts. Y'all got good snacks in Altoona. Anywho, I digress. No time out today. Woo-hoo. Yeah, you got that right, then, Jay. We doing good. Week 2. No time out. Yeah. But so Mr. Officer Fox goes from claiming allegedly that Mangione was posturing, making it seem like he's the alpha mass shooter man. But then all of a sudden, I got to get used to being tripped up in the what? Is you okay? Testimony resumed Monday after Mangione reported being too sick to appear in court Friday. Blair County First Assistant District Attorney Nicole Smith testified about Mangioni's arrest in Pennsylvania, as well as the search of his belongings. Why was she testify? She wasn't there for the arrest. No timeout today. Yes, so far. Playtime, we're talking about the update on the Luigi Mangione pretrial hearing. She wasn't there for the arrest. So what is there for her to testify regarding the arrest? I can understand having her there to testify in regards to determining what to charge him with and discussions with New York DA or ADA regarding how they were going to coordinate these simultaneous cases. But okay. She said Mangione had his preliminary on charge of forgery, giving false ID to law enforcement, carrying firearms without a license, and tampering with records on the same day he was arrested. How did he tamper with records on that day? What records did he tamper with? Number one. How did you so quickly determine that he gave a false ID? How did you so quickly determine that anything was forged? Because if you remember, from his arrest to the charges coming out in the arraignment, that was very quick. That was not long enough for a thorough investigation. Okay. And the search happened before he was Mirandized. So how was he charged with carrying firearms when you conducted an illegal search? And how were you able to thoroughly vet whether or not he had a license for the firearm? But remember, it was a ghost weapon. But I really what records was he tampering with? Because there were no records established yet in the system regarding him and this alleged crime before his arrest. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So let's see. Smith also approved two search warrants Smith also approved two search warrants allowing officers to seize Mangione's bag, digital devices, and notes found inside. The items were later turned over to the NYPD, she testified. Even if she did issue those warrants, they had already gone through his belongings before getting to the ADA. And no, this is not conjecture. This is not me guessing. Once again, let us remember how the order of operations of how this went on. They went, and by they, remember, there was one officer that was like, yeah, this was my first arrest. And he was spilling his guts. Y'all remember him? Because I remember, Tazzy Farms remembers, they were already talking about what they found in his bag. They were already talking like, yes, we know this is him because he had this and this connected to this and this connected to that. So saying that you issued a warrant for them to seize it, they already seized it. The head scratching is definitely a must in this case. Yeah. They took the manifesto without Mirandizing him. Yeah. There's always inconsistencies with U.S. cops. It takes more hours to become a cosmetologist than it does a police officer in the United States. That's why. They're not good at it. They generally tend to not know the laws. So, Altoona police officer Christy Wasser, a 19-year veteran, also testified about the body camera footage video showing Mangione's arrest at the fast food restaurant. She then found a knife, a sandwich, and Mangione's passport, as well as a loaded magazine for a gun she said was wrapped in his underwear inside the bag. So What in the blue bloods is going on? And for those that don't watch or have never watched the show, it's the ultimate propaganda, white privilege family. We're going to tap dance all over the law and cover for each other. Cop show. So they went through his stuff. And remember, Christy Wasser, 19-year veteran. The officer testified she wanted to make sure there wasn't a bomb inside. The officers later discovered a pistol and silencer during a more thorough search at the police station. Why were you searching for a bomb? Nothing about this alleged crime said there was a need to look for a bomb. A bomb was not used in the execution of this. A bomb was not used afterwards to cover for anything. There was no residue of an incendiary device. Why are we looking for explosives all of a sudden? And if you felt that that was the case, that he was a danger, that he could potentially have an explosive on him, why did you wait until you got to the police station to do a more extensive search? Manhattan prosecutors also released a trove of evidence over the weekend, including a handwritten to-do list discovered in Mangioni's pocket during his arrest. The torn piece of paper mentioned Best Buy, a USB drive, a hot meal and water bottles, as well as a survival kit and an Intel check-in slated for December 9th. This sounds like my Sunday pre-Villains View to-do list. You're right, Tammy. All of the evidence is trash. But Best Buy, I don't know about other people with ADHD, but yes, there are times that I have to literally write on my calendar, write on my to-do list to eat. Okay, that's the evidence. Additional evidence unsealed Tuesday included several notes found in Mangioni's possession at the time of his arrest, according to prosecutors. One featured a map of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, roughly 100 miles west of where Mangioni was arrested in Altoona, as well as other nearby cities. Ideally to Columbus or Cincinnati, the note read, which also included a notation to keep momentum, FBI slower overnight. Yeah, well, none of this was obtained legally, so. Oh, they definitely are playtime. They are trying to manufacture a whole slew of stuff. But America. Also, as of today, Australia's world first social media ban begins as millions of children and teens lose access to accounts. Those under the age of 16 in Australia will not be able to be on social media. And I know people are having big feelings about that. And a lot of people in the United States that act like, the United States is the full-blown world. They're like, well, I wouldn't want that to happen to my kids. First of all, you all don't properly parent your kids anyway. And by you all, y'all know what I'm talking about. If you ain't a hit dog, don't start hollering, because I got no sympathy for you. But here is the thing. A lot of you all are using social media to occupy and parent your children. Now, from there, Supreme Court probes campaign finance limits challenged by J.D. Vance. Supreme Court justices on Tuesday probed the legality of long-standing campaign finance restrictions challenged by Vice President J.D. Vance that limit how much national party committees can spend in coordination with individual candidates. It's unclear exactly how the court will rule. One lawyer defending the limits argued that the case should be dismissed as moot because of Vance's ongoing reluctance to reveal whether he will run for office in 2028. That should not make anything moot. I am so tired of this. Because a white man doesn't want to do it, we should let it go. No, absolutely not. All of this, because a white man doesn't want to agree to it, is part of how we got to where we are now. And also, as yet another reminder, still going through all of the factions of the GOP from its inception till now. You can find that at on my Substack under Cincy Taz. And also, many of you need to reconcile with the fact that people that you love and admire are racist. Stop making excuses. I recently posted online an interview with Mr. Archie Bunker himself. Far too many of you all missed the point of that interview because far too many of you like to cosplay being super activist online. Number one. Number two, far too many of you that are white Euro-American individuals, you're fighting against the white leverage that you have and the white leverage that you descend from. Your relatives, your ancestors, okay? They didn't have to play along to get along to stay safe. They didn't. They are a part of society that makes the rules. They are the part of society that creates the normalcy. They went along because they agreed, or they went along because it didn't affect them. And living in 2025 with climate and how things are going today, and you doing this extremely disingenuous, and you know who you are and where you stay. You have zero desire to deconstruct. You just want to cosplay deconstruction online because it will get you the following count that you desire. But I need you to stop. Also, if you are truly on a journey of deconstruction, if you truly are trying to embody anti-racism, you want to know something you don't have to do, keep telling people. You don't. Your actions, your verbiage, your interactions will show us. When you have to constantly tell us how you're different than this aunt, this uncle, this parent, you're not. You're not. Every time somebody brings something up, you have to remind people of the struggle of the melanated. It's because you want to be looked at as a savior. You're not anti anything. You're just pro your own ego. Now, if you're having a hard time swallowing this, I suggest you fill up that good Stanley, that good tumbler, and guzzle down some water to make that pill go down. Because I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this. We are far past that. You know what you helped to cover up. You know who you infantilize. Just like this morning, my good brother, Thomas Bishop, was talking on The Sound of Coffee. And if you do not watch The Sound of Coffee at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, on these here GCPR radio waves, you should. But there was something that was brought up, and it really, not so much what he said, but things in the comment section that were burning my biscuit. And I want to set the record straight. Dean and that whole conversation regarding child pedophilia and grooming and everything, I need y'all to know that was a setup. That was not real. None of Dean's content is real. Dean is a conservative, pretending to be liberal online. This is an individual who cried for Charlie Kirk and put up that video that turned everybody's stomach so that you could forget that he cried for Charlie Kirk. This is someone who took multiple meetings with Charlie Kirk. He wanted to be the next Charlie Kirk. You cannot tell me that somebody who cannot even legally go out and purchase alcohol or get into a club just automatically change their views from everybody in their family. Somebody who has not moved out of mommy and daddy's home. Mommy and daddy bought them all of this state-of-the-art equipment to run a podcast and social media accounts that are counter to what they believe in that household. We have heard people who have actually been excommunicated from their Euro-American conservative families because they decided to be open-minded, even those being open-minded at Christian retreats that their family sent them to. They couldn't do it. But you gonna tell me that this boy's family kid, I'ma need y'all to see the BS when there's BS. Y'all want to put BS everywhere else. You want to look for BS where there's none. You want to look for conspiracies where you should be looking for facts. But when there is flaming dog poopy-doo, y'all just put some smelling salts underneath your nose and just keep moving. Stop infantilizing white male-presenting individuals. You are not allowing them to grow up, and then you're getting pissed off and getting in your feelings and wanting to take to the streets and put out all of these petitions because these stunted, infantilized white demons keep doing what demons do. And no, I'm not calling every white male-presenting individual a demon. Once again, put things into the perspective that they need to be put into. Don't just listen, comprehend. But you have to stop and stop blaming age and youth on things, because when you look at melanated bodies, you don't do that. You do not allow us to have a childhood, but you refuse to let a white man grow up. You want to put them in charge of everything. You want to keep voting them to the top offices of the land while not allowing them to grow up, mature, and gain wisdom. But you force us to have the ability to run and manage an entire household by the time puberty sets into our bodies. My God, today. My God, today. Stop searching for excuses. Oh, also, stop referring to Samantha Fulnecki as the next Riley Gaines. There will not be a next Riley Gaines. We have seen this happen multiple times over and over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't work. The conservatives are still pissed off that Riley Gaines married an immigrant. Now, he's a white immigrant. He's still illegal by their standards in this country. Okay? We have had multiple women try to come up, and I'm going to say this again, and I need y'all to receive it in your spirit, okay? Let me say it 3 times for you, okay? The timing is wrong, the timing is wrong, the timing is wrong. And what do I mean by this? Erica Kirk is a widow. They're throwing all of their resources, all of their money, all of their attention into Erica Kirk. Now, is Erica Kirk using this OU and Fulnecki's situation to the fullest? Absolutely, because there's already a copycat out there. There's already somebody else at OU who did the exact same thing. Now people, most notably alumni, are like, whoa, hold up. Let's roll back the accreditation. There are people now saying, you know what? If you're at OU, you might want to transfer because we're not hiring anybody out of OU because we're being shown that you're not being educated there. that if you make a big enough stink, they'll just pass you through. We're not doing participation trophies, especially with pre-med individuals who are playing a game. And even TPUSA, the OU chapter, is slick, not backing this. But one thing for certain, two things for definite sure, Erica Kirk wants to be the shining star right now of conservatism, and she's going to make it happen. And she's got the friends to do it. And she has the moniker of widow, because one thing the U.S. loves, gobbles up, is a white woman that they deem societally attractive becoming a widow. Give it a couple years and it'll be okay for a billionaire to come and swoon her up and give her all the princess treatment her little heart desires. She is positioning herself to be the conservative version of Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Yes, they deem her attractive, just like they deem Jackie O attractive. And I know some of y'all gonna get mad at me, but I need y'all to take the rose-colored glasses off and really look at Jackie O and see she wasn't that cute. But for the love of all things holy, I need y'all to stop giving people credit for what they don't deserve credit to. Stop connecting everything and everybody together that does not need to be. Are there dots that do connect to give you a whole picture? Yes. And sometimes just random crap happens. We know that conservatism is one big grift. We know that those that have no discernible skills, no personality, latch on to conservatism within the GOP, because conservatism is not married to one political ideology. And generally, the conservatism that is attached to a trendy faction of the GOP is what garners the quickest grift for anyone. Now, for our last story of the show, Hegseth warned about Trump issuing illegal military orders as a Fox contributor in 2016.
Yeah, showed up.
As a Fox News personality, Pete Hegseth repeatedly stressed that U.S. service members were duty-bound to resist unlawful orders from a potential President Donald Trump. Now serving as Trump's Secretary of Defense, Hegseth is railing against Democratic members of Congress and threatening to haul at least one sitting senator into military tribunals for delivering a similar message. And before serving as Trump's top law enforcement official, Attorney General Pam Bondi also similarly argued that military officers must disobey unlawful orders. Their statements stand in stark contrast to the Trump administration's threats to members of Congress who warned American troops against following illegal orders as the defense secretary faces growing legal scrutiny from international groups and both Democratic and Republican members of Congress for his alleged commands to leave no survivors behind in a lethal campaign against suggested drug traffickers. Those lawmakers, of whom have military or intelligence backgrounds, are now facing questioning by the FBI and Department of Justice. In 2016, then-candidate Trump faced widespread criticism for his suggestion that the U.S. military should revive banned forms of torture and take out families of suspected terrorists, which legal experts and former officials argued would be a war crime. I got some response from vets saying that no, You're not going to follow that order if it's unlawful, Hegseth said during a March 16th appearance on Fox and Friends. The military is not going to follow illegal orders, Hegseth said during an appearance on Fox Business that month. The resurfaced clips uncovered by CNN's K-File followed the Trump administration's threatening messages to 6 members of Congress who warned military personnel against threats to our Constitution coming from right here at home. A video from the lawmakers last month urged troops to ignore illegal orders and commit to their oath to the Constitution, but did not point to any specific actions they believed were unlawful. But the statement follows a wave of National Guard deployments into American cities and the extrajudicial killing of more than 80 alleged drug smugglers on boats in Pacific and Caribbean waters. And response has threatened to recall Senator Mark Kelly back to active duty to face court-martial proceedings. The FBI also is questioning lawmakers about their remarks, while Trump has called them traitors who should be in jail right now and raged against them in a series of True Social statements in the days that followed their video. Now, for a lot of people, they would think that coverage like this is a gotcha moment when it comes to Pete Hegseth. It's not. Pete Hegseth has gone on the record stating that he does not believe in war crimes. Pete Hegseth has bragged about behaviors that could fall into the category of war crimes. Pete Hegseth has lobbied and advocated for the dismissal of charges, war crime charges, against individuals. I need you all to remember that in order to rally against something, you have to know of its existence. You have to know how it is defined, because that's what causes your disdain for it. So he knows. It's no different than the racists that try to tell you that racism doesn't exist, or that is being perpetuated by the victims, the targets of racism. I wonder where the Kamala is a war criminal crowd is, and if they have the same smoke for heck. No, they don't. I can tell you exactly where they are. They're chasing Kamala Harris around as she's doing her book tour. They're on social media blaming her for the woes of the current administration, because that's what they do. They're not going to blame the white guy as long as there is a black woman to blame. Just like earlier today, someone said in the comment section that if Kamala Harris wouldn't have chosen Tim Walz and would have chosen Mark Kelly as a running mate, she would have been elected. No, she wouldn't have, because it would not have changed her gender, her ethnicity, or her race. And those calling upon Mark Kelly to run for president in 2028, why? What are his qualifications? I know that he embodies your childhood hero. Okay, he is everything that they told you you should look up to when you were a kid. He's a military man. He's an astronaut. He has a twin brother, and he's white, and he's got a penis. Yes. What are his qualifications? And before you go, but he's been in the military, so the commander-in-chief should be a military person. Let me explain something to you, and I mean absolutely no disrespect to anybody currently serving or anyone who did serve. The basis of the military is that you are capable, willing, and able of following directions. Please tell me how following directions makes you a good leader. I'm going to need y'all to stop being the other side of the aesthetic coin. You sit here day in and day out, on and offline, criticizing the GOP, most notably the current predominant faction of the GOP, MAGA. Because if somebody goes, yeah, I got a wife and 4.2 kids, got this F-150 and an F-250, got my cowboy hat on and my good brand spanking new boots. Yeehaw! Fuck the law, let's do this. And they're voting for it. You're doing the same thing. People are getting on the campaign trail going, yes, my father walked with Martin Luther King Jr. Vote for me. And they're not, hey, Simply Blended, and they're not qualified to put the fries in the bag at Wendy's. And then you sit and complain that no progress has been made. And I want to leave you with this. Somebody said earlier, we got to fight them the way they fight. Politics isn't talking points. Politics isn't sitting there fighting back and forth. You want equity, you have to move towards equity, which means you got to put people that are qualified into office to do the work. Stop asking why the Democrats are quiet. This is not a volleying back and forth of talking points. The Democrats are trying to get legislation through right now to save us all. And stop, for the love of all things, stop referring to what we're going through as the movie Idiocracy. Idiocracy started off horrible. The people realized they're not doing this right and listened to the voices of reason and started making changes to get themselves out of it. We're not even to the worst yet, and nobody's listening to get things towards a change. Y'all want a WWE SmackDown on Capitol Hill. So please, miss me with it. As always, thank you for tuning in, whether to listen on gcpr.live or to view on Facebook, Substack, YouTube, or TikTok. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect. I will see you all later today, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for Conversations with Taz over on the YouTube, and we're going to get into some more interesting stories and miscellaneous commentary. Other than that, I will see you all same time, same good old place tomorrow. And, oops. What do we have coming up for you all next here on GCPR? Oops. 6 p.m., the Help Desk, and then 8 p.m., the Kennedy Effect, for your late night dose of news. Until next time, as always, each one teach one, each one reach one.